Well, let's talk about the neighborhoods because we always like to see what's happening on a micro level in order to understand broader trends. And the first place I went was Bronzeville. Bronzeville has a really rich cultural and architectural history. And I met Rick Sobin there. Rick is the managing broker. He took me around and he talked about two really notable trends. One is rehab of vintage properties, and the other one is the new construction boom that's really reshaping the neighborhood.
You know, one of the exciting things about Bronzeville is all the new construction that's been happening here. And I think one of the reasons that Bronzeville is finally getting a lot of attention is it has an amazing location. It's really a prime space for new construction and sort of revitalization, redevelopment.
We're in a new home right now. We look across the street and there's new homes and construction really all around us. So talk a little bit more about the new construction phenomenon in Bronzeville.
You know, one of the things that strike me the most is it doesn't all look the same. So builders are taking time to build different product. Builders are taking time to pick different finishes. So it doesn't look like it was all built at the same time.
What are some of the real hot pockets, if you will, in Bronzeville right now?
The Gap, obviously, from 31st to 35th, from King Drive to Indiana. We have Parade of Homes around 45th and Prairie. There's about 50 new construction homes that make up that development. And also, let's not forget the true heroes of the story, which are the historic brownstones and greystones. Beautiful facades with a little bit of rehab. They can be restored back to their original beauty. Well, this property type is what really started the whole new construction boom. A lot of people were interested in the historic value of the brownstone and the greystone and that classic look. And there was a lot of opportunity down here. For instance, this house that we see here, along with the lot next door, sold for about $200,000 about 2 years ago.
So if somebody comes along today and they want to buy this house that's done, what are we talking about?
When this house was completed about 2 years ago, I think it could have sold for around $775,000, and now I think you could get as much as $800,000.
A couple weeks ago, we were talking about the neighborhood and we were looking at some market stats, and you really see a lot of variation from month to month, especially things like average selling price. You said you cannot really understand the neighborhood by looking solely at the numbers. Why is that?
Well, a neighborhood like this, going through a transition like this, you could have a month where you sell 2 or 3 new construction homes, and then the next month, none sell. And the next month, 5 sell. So you'll see these wild variations in activity, but it's definitely not a true picture of what's really happening.
Then, you know, what's your advice?
Very important in an area like this where block to block, street to street varies dramatically, work with a local expert. It'll make all the difference.
Thad, 2 of the big stories that Rick talked about, new construction and vintage rehabs. Let's start with the rehabs. I think it's a very Chicago thing to go into a neighborhood, buy an old building, fix it up. You know, sometimes that rehabber is living in one unit and renting out a couple of units. Both of you have experienced it, you know, throughout your careers. Talk a little bit about how that plays into the renaissance of a neighborhood.
Well, it reminds me a little bit of Lincoln Park back in the 80s, when Lincoln Park got some serious focus, and there were a lot of awesome buildings. There were 2 flats, 3 flats, and single family that started getting remodeled. Down in Brownsville, you have a great greystones, and super close to the L. And so you're seeing buyers pick them up at low prices, or they have in the past picked them up at low prices, remodel them, and have the values skyrocket. I think the prices have come up. It's hard to find the bargains, much harder than it used to be, but they're still out there.
Let's talk about new construction. Mike, I was just amazed at the amount of building that's happening there. Rick drove me around, and just block after block, you're seeing tons of new houses. Why do you think that neighborhood is so primed for new building right now?
I mean, I think that it makes a tremendous amount of sense. I mean, first, Bronzeville was becoming a hot neighborhood back in 2008 when the last downturn hit. And there was a lot of work going on. There was a lot of adaptive reuse, and everything kind of stopped down there. So it had already kind of started and stalled. And when you look at it from a location standpoint, it's close to downtown, it's close to the lake, it's an excellent location, and it's got a really good base of housing stock. So you do have beautiful greystones and really good stock to start with. So now people are just filling in a lot of the gaps in a lot of the lots, and as you said, it's very affordable.